And so really, whatever our body experiences, as I mentioned, from conception through to birth and beyond, what that will do is affect everything from how we think, how we feel, how we perceive, how we behave, and our coping mechanisms, our learning strategies, everything that we have. Hello and welcome back. Now, just before we get started, if you are watching this on the Total Somatics YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell. So whenever I release an episode, you find out very quickly. Also, if you're not aware already, I have a TEDx talk. So you can check that out on YouTube. If you go to the search bar and type in TEDx Heidi Hadley, you will find my TEDx talk there. And I would love you to give me a thumbs up and a comment would be awesome. So thank you in advance. And then finally, just to let you know that the Total Somatics membership doors are officially open. And really, that's where we're going to start to weave into today's episode and discussion. Because the membership doors are currently open, there have been people joining the membership recently. And really, a conversation has sprouted from somebody who's recently joined the membership. Now, we've had a discussion together because she mentioned how powerful the embodiment practices are that she can use at her fingertips within the Total Somatics membership. And she said to me, it's the first time in decades that she's actually felt connected to her internal world, which is really, really powerful. And I want to share in this episode why that is important. And that's because she said that she's lived for many years in her head. And so what she would do is often ruminate or overthink or try to talk or think her way out of an issue or a trial, but it was to no avail. And then when she came into the Total Somatics membership, she's learned a lot more about her soma. And she realized how beautifully interconnected we are emotionally, mentally, physically, and energetically. And how all of our health concerns and issues are heavily integrated. So what I want to share with you is that expression soma. If you're new to that expression, let me just give you a little brief overview about your soma. So each of us are beautifully unique and amazing. We are basically a giant sensory organism. We have more sensory than motor nerves. So that's why I refer to us as a giant sensory organism. And through our life experiences from conception through to birth and onward, we are sculpted and shaped and molded to who we are today. So that can be from different events in our life to our upbringing, our culture, our belief, where we come from in the world, our bone structure, medical history, everything. And so that's why we never want to compare ourselves to others, because we are so unique. We're very special. Each of us have our special role on this planet. And so because of that, with our soma, it is intertwined. We can't separate your mind and your body. You know, sometimes in conventional medicine, they will separate your mind and your body. But because you're here today with this podcast, you know that it's not that binary or that black and white or simplistic. Everything is interconnected. So our soma is absorbing and soaking everything in right up until this moment to shape us to who we are today. So having that brief understanding about what who you are as a soma, what we can clearly understand from this is the science to support this understanding that we have in clinical somatics. And I'm going to try and say this without getting a bit of a tongue twister here, but there is actually a science that connects all of this together when we're thinking collectively of our soma. And the science is called psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology. I told you it was a mouthful. And the reason is this is a science that links our mind, our brain, our nervous system, our immune system, and our hormonal world, which is known as the endocrine system. So let's just consider for a moment, if we're putting all those together and we've understood here that our soma collectively gathers and sculpts and shapes us to who we are, let's consider what the science of psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology actually does. And that is how we think, what we believe either consciously or subconsciously, what we feel, or maybe what we prevent ourselves from feeling, all starts to affect our body for either better or for worse. And so, really, whatever our body experiences, as I mentioned, from conception through to birth and beyond, what that will do is affect everything from how we think, how we feel, how we perceive, how we behave, and our coping mechanisms, our learning strategies, everything that we have. And I want to use an example here of how things are intertwined. And that is the amygdala. You may be familiar with that name, but the amygdala is the brain's fear center. However, it has a huge link and connection with your cardiovascular system. So with your heart and also with your heart and lungs, the whole lot intertwined. So what's happening is when your amygdala becomes overactive, it's known again within medical research, which I'll share with you in a moment, is linked to cardiovascular disease. So you can see the influence that these areas are having on body systems. So the more that someone perceives or even experiences these different stresses, then what happens is over time, the resting activity of the amygdala makes that person at greater risk of having heart issues. So isn't that interesting? So again, it's looking at how we really want to manage our state here. Because I've just got a note here, which I'd like to read to you. And it's basically that in the year 2012, a study from Harvard Medical School showed that when women had higher job strain, they had a 67% more likely experience of a heart attack than a woman with a less stressful job. So that makes us start to again consider that link between the amygdala, your fear center, and how that influences cardiovascular health. And remember what I said before, that the resting activity of the amygdala stays higher when there's that ongoing stress. Either they experience it for real, or they perceive it. That's really important to consider. So you see, over the years, many people may have tried talk therapy, even things like affirmations. That's been quite popular. However, to truly calm your nervous system, we have to work with embodiment practices. And if you're in the Total Somatics membership, you'll know that I have a workshop specifically about trauma, stress, and how movement is medicine. And within that, I share with you study research notes that I have from doing work with Bessel van der Kolk. And we will consider there the PET scan. So it's a PET scan is looking at the metabolic activity of your brain and seeing how it looks when somebody is in a highly stressed or traumatized state. And so when you truly understand from that workshop how this manifests throughout your body, you can see why talk therapy is not really going to get to regulating your nervous system. We just stay in a survival mechanism and we will just live in our head. Whereas to truly manage our state and regulate our nervous system, we need to drop out of our head back into our body. And again, that's why in clinical somatics, we talk about the entire, like the soma as a whole. So we're wanting to be fully attuned and embodied to everything that's happening. So again, we are more subconscious than conscious. And so when we're tapping into techniques to deal with nervous system regulation, this is where clinical somatic education, which is what I teach within Total Somatics, within the Total Somatics membership, really starts to get to the root cause of this situation. Because when we can regulate that dysfunctional behavior within your nervous system, then everything else will start to flow beautifully. And so that's where I wanted to share with you a free resource that you can start with today. However, if you really want to dive in deep and ongoing support with me within the Total Somatics membership, I'm going to give you two options here to see what suits you at this point. First of all, I'll provide with you a free resource. This resource is going to help immediately to bring down that stress response. So it's going to combine breathing and eye movement. So if you've got a pen and paper ready, the resource is totalsomatics.com/regulate. So that's totalsomatics.com/regulate. And if you have a look at that, you will see how you can regulate your nervous system. However, if you want ongoing strategies and techniques, and as I said, part of the membership deal is that I'm there within the group to deal with any queries and questions. And there are so many tailored sessions, workshops, and a structured pathway for you to learn how to recalibrate and regulate your nervous system. I would love to invite you into the Total Somatics membership. So if you'd like to join me and all the beautiful people around the world, go to totalsomatics.com. Click on the Join Now page and you'll see all the details there. So whilst the membership doors are open and they will close again very soon, do come along and join, because once the membership doors open, I just, again, will only open it for a short amount of time periodically. So I would love for you to take the opportunity now to see how you can really delve deep into reconnecting with your inner world and creating this flexibility and this greater capacity within your nervous system to deal with the fluctuations in stress. So until next time, all my love and my very best wishes. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and also forward this on to somebody you know will benefit. To learn more about pain relief, plus how to improve your health and well-being, go to totalsomatics.com. Until next time, take care.